Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving.
How do you move forward without Devonte Wyatt?
Yeah, it's tough, but that is the nature of our game. Certainly, he's a guy that is going to be pretty tough to replace, and I think it just falls on everybody else kind of raising the level of their game.
Will it be promote from within? Do you guys go looking on the outside to add some depth there?
I think everything's up in the air, but I certainly think we have confidence in the guys that have been playing and doing a good job. Certainly, it'd be nice to get Carl Brooks back out there. And then the two young guys are going to have to get a little bit more reps with Brinsen and Stack. And so, we'll handle it that way.
That is season ending, Matt.
It is, unfortunately.
What was the difference you saw in Devonte this year versus his earlier season? Seems his production.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt. His production has been a lot better. I think he's played more than in years past. I don't know what the percentage of play time is, but he certainly has gotten more opportunities. And then when he was in there, he was being very disruptive, both in the run game and in the pass game. And I think how I feel about that position is it typically takes a little bit of time, and it can take a couple years before guys really hit their stride. And I think what's unfortunate is he's definitely playing the best ball of his career.
What kind of growth have you seen from Brinsen, though, the opportunities that he has had, as the season's kind of progressed here?
Yeah, I mean, he's earned more opportunity, and I think that's a credit to him. And I think DC and VO and Wendell all do a great job with that room. And so he's earned those ops.
You guys have had a lot more success rushing before than certainly last year. Obviously, Mike is a big part of that. Devonte was too. Are you going to have to change how you rush the quarterback without him?
I think every game's a little bit different, but we can have 7 guys in coverage. It definitely makes it harder on an offense. There's just less holes in the defense, but every game's there's different challenges within each game in terms of just the matchups, the personnel, and how you want to attack somebody.
How'd you evaluate Belton's performance on Thursday, starting from the beginning of the game to the end?
Yeah, I thought he did a solid job. I thought he did a good job. It wasn't perfect. It never is going to be. There were a couple moments where, I think that he'll learn from and get better from. But I thought, all in all, he brings a level of physicality and obviously his size alone, that there's a lot of good with him in there.
Are you guys trusting Jordan a little bit more with the pass rush to offset what you might be losing with the run game adds that Sean and Anthony bring, but maybe some of the lack of pass protection? Are you trusting more Jordan just to beat the blitz, the rush?
Not any more than we usually do. I think he's always done a really good job with that in regards to having a good feel in the pocket and be able to keep his eyes downfield, but yet feeling that rush and understanding when to, when he's got to maybe speed up his clock in regards to what the defense presents. But I think those guys, are you saying that they're not doing as good in pass pro as they are in the run game?
It seems like they bring a lot of grit to the run game, but maybe a Jordan Morgan, he's a left tackle going inside, maybe a more natural pass protector.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the numbers fare or anything like that. I just go by what I see, and I do think that we've been a little bit more stout in pass protection. Not to say that it's, like I said, it's never perfect, but there seems to be a little bit less push in there with Belton in there.
What sort of challenges does a 1-2 punch running backfield kind of present? I mean, the Lions had Jameer and Montgomery, and now you get Swift and another guy.
Yeah, I think these two backs are really good. I think, allows those guys to stay fresh. If somebody's really having a great day, you can kind of feed the hot hand. Obviously, they had 2 guys to go over 100 yards in an NFL game. That's pretty rare. So I think it's a credit to really everybody. I think their offensive line, they've certainly added some pieces up front. I think those tight ends, they blocked their ass off, and I think the receivers get involved in the run game as well. So it's a collection of all of those guys, and it's going to be a great challenge because, I mean, they're the best in the league right now at doing it.
Does that change your preparation? Normally, you're going to have to look after two very different running backs.
Not necessarily. No, I think those guys are, pretty interchangeable in regards to what you ask them to do.
And what's the plan for Jaden Reed this week?
The plan is to see where he's at the end of the week, and if he is good to go, then he's got to get cleared first. I know he's back to practicing, but he's ultimately got to be cleared to go out there and play in a game.
Do you think it's good for this rivalry that these two teams are where they're at as opposed to what it's been for the majority of your time here?
To be honest with you, I don't really put too much thought into that. Like, I think that, I think it's a cool for the fans, and certainly when you have two good teams, and obviously Chicago's the number one team in the NFC right now. So, it should be a great game.
Do you put any thought into what Ben said about you back in March this week?
Not really, no.
You give Golden a chance to play this week? Do you think there's a shot that he plays this week?
Potentially, yeah.
And when he comes back, so given Wicks's emergence there, is your plan to work guys on the field, just keep rotating, or are you going to have to narrow this down and keep a few guys?
No, I think, that's a good question. I think it could go a lot of different ways in regards to how these guys are feeling or how they're performing. But when you have a ton of guys in that room that you have a lot of confidence in, you'd rather have that than not have just enough guys to go out there and get the job done. So I think it can be a challenge, obviously, to try to feed everybody and get them the touches that they deserve. But I do think there's just kind of an unknown in regards to the defense when you're not quite sure who's going to be the heavy share target guy. So we'll have to do a good job of kind of managing that as an offensive staff.
When you look at the Bears on tape, what's the difference you see in Caleb Williams this year versus last year, aside from just having a lot more tags around?
He's done a great job. Obviously, he's playing. He's kind of like a magician back there in terms of his escapability. I mean, they're getting ready for some of these games and watching the crossover tape. Just how he is able to avoid sacks and negative, play situations has been pretty impressive. He's obviously a very strong guy, and I think he has got great quickness and speed as well. So he's a real threat. He's a real true dual threat kind of guy in regards to his ability to move the sticks with his legs or make those off-schedule plays. There's not a throw on the field he can't make. And I think he's done a really good job of taking care of the football this year as well. So I think you've seen a ton of growth, probably as much as any quarterback in this league from year one to year two.
Aiden Hutchinson was saying after the game in Detroit that Jordan's ability to drift back away from the pass rush and still get off the throw is something that's rare in this league. I guess I'd never really heard it described that way. Is that something you teach, you coach, or is that just innate in his ability, his arm strength to be able to pull back?
Well, I think you got to be careful. You never really want your quarterback going backwards, and like especially throwing off their back foot. So one of the things that we always talk about is just being balanced as a thrower, because I think that typically that's going to lead to better accuracy and more success. That's why I think defenses are always trying to get the quarterback off the spot just to get him to move. But I think when a guy is able to do that and show that ability, that's just a great plus for us, I would say, in regards to his ability to kind of buy him some more time and then still be accurate enough to throw that ball.
Did he come in like that, or is that developed and he's kind of worked with that through
I think he's always kind of had some of that ability, but certainly it's been refined over time.
Not going back to Spoon's question, it's hard enough for a rookie to kind of hit the ground running at wide receiver a lot of times. Matthew had that 3-catch, 86-yard game against Cincinnati. How much has this kind of hurt the momentum he had and the development he had going?
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough because he has been an explosive playmaker. I mean, even in New York, he had a big reception. So it just, unfortunately, um, there's going to be adversity in this league, and some people face it earlier in their career and then later. And so I think his ability to be tough-minded, just mentally and physically tough, will allow him to overcome whatever challenges or adversity he's faced.
You got a lot of interceptions. What have you seen in that regard?
Yeah, they do a great job of getting the ball, really at the linebacker level and obviously in the back end with their corners and safeties. So I think you got to do a really good job of making sure that, we're throwing within the rhythm and the timing of the play, and then you got to be able to progress when it's not there. Because if you just throw it up, I mean, they've made a lot of plays.
Why do you think Jordan's interception numbers are so much lower this year?
I think there's a lot of factors in regards to that question, to be honest with you. And you almost have to go through all the plays and all the tape. And I think he has done a pretty good job of showing just, number one, throwing on in the rhythm and the timing of the play, but showing the ability to progress. And sometimes even throw it away when it's not there instead of trying to force it down the field.
And speaking of interceptions, Evans had 2 of them in the last couple weeks, but has he elevated his all-around game? And if so, how have you seen him develop?
Yeah, I think he's playing really good football. I think it's pretty. I'm guessing that you think the same. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking the question. So, he's always been a pretty aware player. I think he's got great instincts, but now his knowledge of what we're trying to get accomplished, and then his ability to disguise and hold things, and then on the snap, trigger. You definitely feel his presence in the run support. I mean, shoot, sometimes I can't tell if when I'm watching the tape, was that quarters, was that like a 3-hook coverage, just because of his ability to hit it, and not to mention that the physicality that he's brought to our defense has been pretty impressive. And I think I was talking to one of our coaches about it today, just to watch the growth and development in regards to how he tackles as well. I mean, but the guy puts the work in every day. I see him post-practice working on the heavy bag, just refining his technique for how he approaches tackles, and he's done a hell of a job. And you feel him not only on defense, but on special teams as well.
Two more, please. Christian's gotten a lot more ops the last 2 weeks. I know you want to spread it around, but how much of that is intentional to really focus on trying to get him opportunities? It's hard to imagine the defense are just allowing that to happen.
Yeah, I think every situation's a little bit different. I think I've said this a few times, but we try to go in with every game plan and have stuff for each receiver. And, how that unfolds varies from week to week in regards to just the different coverages that we may be seeing within a game. But you're always trying to give guys opportunities, and certainly he's a big play, explosive guy. I mean, there were a couple, like the touchdown he had, I mean, that was a mirrored route concept. So, I don't exactly know which side all the time that Jordan's gonna work, and he worked his side, and glad he did because they made a hell of a play. But yeah, I think he's really developed though as a a pretty consistent player for us.
Parsons has been so good late in games. Halfley suggesting music to be played at the stadium. I'm just wondering, what's it like to have a guy that can do that for you at the end of games? What's that like for you as a coach?
Yeah, I think it can at times, like when you have a guy like that and you have a lot of confidence in the situations of, hey, they're going to throw the ball right here, it can allow you to maybe be a little bit more aggressive at times in regards to the end of the game. But I don't know. It's just, yeah, he's a special football player. I haven't seen too many guys like him. He's one of those guys that you better have a plan for, or he's going to make you pay.
Can I ask you one more question? question
Sure.
about Christian's development. He came in with that explosiveness as a rookie. How much have you seen him grow in kind of the possession receiving, the intermediate stuff in his game and adding that?
Yeah, for sure. I think just all around route running, just all the little intricacies that actually make a big difference. Yeah, he's improved in every facet of his game and his ability to, beat man coverage, get off, win off the line of scrimmage, whatever it may be. And then also, I think just attacking the football and tracking the football, I think you've really seen a lot of just development there as well.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.